In your comments over the last few months, you said that Canouan was not generating much revenue to the national coffers. I think you said that in the last 5 years or so, they have hardly sold any lands. What are the main issues contributing to this situation in Canouan?
I think the main issue has to do with the person who now owns, who took over, who purchased Antonio Saladino's share of the property up there.
Who's that person?
Andrea Pinataro. And I've spoken about this publicly, and there's a lot of dissatisfaction by homeowners in the north of Canouan. Because remember, it's in the north, you have the golf course, you have the hotel, the Mandarin, but you also have villas where persons have purchased land, built villas, and the developer, the Canouan Resort Development, that company, which is now owned by the Canouan company, owned by Mr. Pinataro, that they do the maintenance and everything for the houses and provide services. And the homeowners are complaining that is not being done to their satisfaction.
But to the extent that the state, the country, is suffering, for want of a better word, lost revenue, which you did mention.
Yeah.
Is there anything that the government can do?
Well, I would say this, Kenton. The government is contemplating many different things. This is a complicated problem given the nature of the lease. But I am hopeful in the initial stage at least that the person who owns the company in the north, that we will see some improvement. And I know the homeowners want to act in a particular way. I'm watching to see what is taking place there. I don't want to speak to all the possible things which could happen. But I'm glad you asked me the question so I can speak about the matter broadly.
But I have more questions to ask about it, so you can speak even more broadly.
Sure.
Prime Minister, are you aware that Mr. Pinataro has taken the homeowners in Canouan to court?
I know. Well, let me put it this way. I've been advised that he has, not by the Attorney General, because the matter has not been drawn to the Attorney General's attention, because it doesn't involve. There's a homeowners association, and they're going to squabble over who can do what in that association. I think that is what that fight is about.
Are you in any way involved in this homeowners association? Specifically, were you ever a director in this association?
No. I'm not a director. I understand that they wanted to suggest me as a director, but I gave no such permission. They wanted the state to be involved in somebody in the state who hold a position by virtue of representing the state. Like, for instance, under the law, the different, by parallel reasoning, the Musty Company has someone from the state on the board of the Musty Company. This is not the board of this matter. This is a homeowners association, which under their agreement, the agreement between the owner and the homeowners as to who should be doing what and who should be controlling what. So that is what that is about.
So does the state?
The state is not involved.
Does the state have somebody on the board in Canada?
No. We don't have any. I understand that the a document was circulated saying that, you know, to put the Prime Minister in it, if he agrees to, or something like that. I was told that. I haven't seen the document. Because I think this is something among the homeowners. Because I think they think that if they have somebody from the government side, that may strengthen their hand in any battle for control of that association by Mr. Battle with Mr. Pinataro. But I'm not involved in that. That is, I'm concerned that they sort out their issue for the good of the people for the good of the project and for resources to flow. Look, Kenton, how did the NDP government structure this thing? The government owned the property. They leased the property for 99 years. But within the lease, they allow the owner of the 99 years lease to sell freehold, provided that the government agrees to every one of those transactions. And for that, the developer will develop a first-class international quality facility on the island, putting all the roads, all the infrastructure, everything. And when that property is sold, naturally what the government will get is essentially 17%. 5% transfer tax by the vendor, 5% by the purchaser of the value, and 7% alien landholding license. The number for the alien landholding license was smaller, but we increased that number. We increased that percentage number. So the government will get revenues where that undeveloped land becomes developed and somebody pays for a particular price for that developed land because of all the roads and all the infrastructure and everything put in by the developer, because it was virgin territory, essentially. That was their structure, so that what the state will get will be alien landholding license and transfer taxes. The state will get, people will get jobs, and therefore you'll have payroll taxes. When people rent those villas in the north, and from the hotel, the Mandarin Hotel, that you'll get the VAT, the 11% VAT on the room and the food and the beverage. They get duty-free concessions, but the consumer of the room and the consumer of the food and the drink will pay the 11%, like any hotel. That was the concept behind this particular development as envisaged by the...
But has your administration attempted to change the lease or to ensure that maybe it better aligns with what your government sees as the better interests of St. Vincent and the Grenadines?
Yeah, you can only the owner of the lease does not support any alteration to what was there before. And if you were to change it, there'll be certain, if you were to go unilaterally and change it, there are certain consequences into what you'll have to pay as a state. Because you'll essentially, because of the agreement, taking away his quote-unquote property. because he has a lease on particular terms.
So certainly the country cannot suffer ad infinitum.
Yeah, well, you know, certain things, Kenton, there's a lot more I can say.
Please do.
No, but I wouldn't, because on this matter I am being very careful as to how I proceed.
But it seems that a lot more things are going to become public.
Well, you know, Kenton, I love that too.
I'm sure the public would.
Kenton, I love that too. That would probably help the government.
Yeah,
well,
I'm sure-
I'm not sure.
I'm sure the public would love that too, Prime Minister.
Yeah.
I'd like to move on.
But I think you'd appreciate the openness with which I've spoken on these particular issues, and you'd also appreciate that I can't say certain things beyond what I have said. But I have said it openly before that I'm not satisfied with what is happening.
I certainly appreciate you responding to my questions, Prime Minister.